headlines. INEC declares Bola Tinubu winner of Nigeria's 2023 presidential election. Federal government begins clampdown on firms over digital advertisement. Plus, Turkey to hold elections on May 14th despite deadly earthquake. Hello and welcome to News Live in Viewer Television. My name is Joy Malik. Many thanks for joining us. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu as the president-elect. Now, Tinubu, a former Lagos State governor, was declared the president-elect after the 70-year-old polled 8,794,726 votes to win the 2023 presidential election. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, announced Tinubu as the winner at the International Collation Center in Abuja during the early hours of Wednesday. Tinubu won the election ahead of other contenders, the People's Democratic Party candidates Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, and the New Nigerian People's Party candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso. The three leading presidential candidates won in 12 states each, while Kwankwaso claimed only Kano State. Tinubu urged Atiku, a former vice president and his closest challenger, with no fewer than 1.8 million votes. Still on the general elections, the Federal Executive Council has congratulated the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima over their victory at the just concluded presidential election. In a statement by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, FEC expressed confidence that the incoming administration would build on the legacies of the outgoing one. The Council enjoined Nigerians to ensure violence and any other action capable of negativity impacting the democratic process, calling on those dissatisfied with the conclusion of the process to seek appropriate legal redress. Well, the Inter-Party Advisory Council in Lagos State has congratulated Bola Tinubu on his victory in the February 25th presidential election. Now, INEC declared Tinubu as the president-elect on Wednesday. IPAC Chairman Olusegun Mobalaji urged aggrieved presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and others not satisfied with the election outcome to follow the lawful path. According to him, all Nigerians must respect democracy and the country. The IPAC chairman expressed the belief that INEC has promised would do the right justice to whatever complaints anyone might have. He urged the electoral umpire to address all complaints and grievances accordingly. Mobalaji added that people really complained that they could not trust the result because they were not electronically transmitted through the beavers, but INEC has to conclude the process it started. Now let's take it to Sokoto State and how the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared all the National Assembly elections in Sokoto State inconclusive. Dr. Shamsuddin Halaru, the spokesman of the commission in the state, disclosed this to newsmen. According to the report, there has been confusion over the delay in announcing the National Assembly election results in the state, with supporters of the two major political parties taking to social media platforms to announce the fake results in favor of the respective parties. According to the collated candidates of the two major political parties in the state, PDP and APC, were leading in different areas. The same fate is said to have occurred to all the candidates for the 11 House of Representatives elections and the states, as the elections were declared inconclusive. A Borno PDP senatorial candidate Barrister Mohammed has called on INEC to cancel the elections of 8 local governments in Borno State. The politician at a press briefing in NUJ Center said the elections in Maiduguri, Jere, Bama, Mafa, Dikwa, Gamburu, Ingala and Kala will experience infractions and manipulations, stressing that INEC disregarded the use of beavers machines and adopted manual voting in the presidential elections, which is contrary to the Electoral Act. He added that the elections was marred with overvoting and alterations of result sheets and revealed that voting failed to take place at some polling units.
There was voter intimidation and harassment. Kalabalge, local government. There was no use of the beavers machine throughout the 10 wards of the local government. People without voters' cards were allowed to vote. Those with temporary voters' cards were allowed to vote contrary to the electoral guidelines. There was open use of US dollar bills by the APC officials to bribe INEC officials to manipulate the results. And in this case, this was prevalent not only in Kalapaldi, but it was prevalent even here in Jere and in Metropolitan. Before the eyes of all our agents and our supporters that were at the collection centers, they were brandishing dollar bills and they were giving it to the $200 to the presiding officers to change the results. And the action of changing the results was happening right before the eyes of everybody. They refused to complete the exercise at the units.
When Newslar returns, the Nigerian police force has debunked reports that 8 operatives have arrested some syndicate in Maitama, Abuja, linked with the manipulation of the bimodal voter accreditation system missions of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, details of these and more comes to you right after the break. So stay tuned.
Illusion will when they may be, on your members in any book. Ogazamaka wajina gomo. Ogazamaka wajina. Osilio nyama. Mkengenyi jina. Ekeke na logika shakalo. Ajia shakata namu. Sadebeno. Ajia sadebeno. Hasadebeno yamu. Obi amuze no sinimo sadebeno. Namo na. Wanene bene namo.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Live on Viewer Television. Now let's take a recap of our top stories. INEC declares Bola Tinubu winner of Nigerians 2023 presidential election. Federal government begins clampdown on firms over digital advertisement. Plus, Turkey to hold elections on May 14th despite deadly earthquake. The Nigerian police force has debunked report that its operatives have arrested some syndicates in Maitama, Abuja, linked with the manipulation of the bimodal voter accreditation system missions of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The police was reacting to a viral video of some persons allegedly arrested with beavers mentioned in Abuja. They were reportedly arrested at a building located in Maitama area of Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. In a statement issued by the Force Public Relations Officer, Force Headquarters Olumiyiwa Adejobi confirmed that the police visited the building after a tip-off from residents of the area. However, Adejobi said when the police arrived at the building, some electoral materials, including beavers' machines, were discovered. He added that the INEC confirmed that the occupants of the house is staff of Imperial Technology, a firm outsourced by INEC to provide engineering services. The newly promulgated ACON Act wants digital media players of severe sanctions, including fines and imprisonment of relevant officials for further contraventions. The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, backed by the Ministry of Information and Culture and the National Assembly, will begin rolling out sanctions to erring advertising practitioners from March 1st, 2022. The sanctions will cut across primary digital space owners such as Meta, Google, Twitter, and others, down to secondary digital space owners such as content creators, skit makers, and influencers responsible for marketing communication on this platform. According to ACON Director General Olalekan, the regulatory body does not seek to regulate social media and clamp down on free speech, but to ensure that promotional content communicated via digital media conforms the standards as prescribed by the ACON law. The law requires all advertising messages on the digital media to conform to the 4 cardinal points of legality, decency, truthfulness, and honesty. Now, advertisers in digital media space are now required by law to forward all advertising messages to the Council's Advertising Standard Panel for vetting before exposure or publication. The Economic Community of West African States Parliament has kick-started a process aimed at ensuring seamless communication within the West African sub-region. Well, this was even as the regional parliament lamented the difficulties associated with roaming within the ECOWAS sub-region. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the delocalized meeting of the Joint Committee on Telecommunication and Information, Technology, Education, Science and Culture, Trade, Customs and Free Movement in Niamey, Niger Republic, Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, said issues concerning telecommunications, mobile roaming and its tariffs were quite critical and constitute major ingredients in the ECOWAS integration process. Tunis also said in a study on mobile internet adoption in West Africa conducted by the Bonn Institute of Labor Economics in 2021, it was found that widespread adoption and use of digital technologies have multifold potential for the sub-region. The ECOWAS Parliament Speaker, however, said the burden or cost of connectivity served as a great necessity for mobile adoption and penetration. Well, the Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Ahmed, says Nigeria will be witnessing severe flooding this year as indicated by predictions from relevant agencies. Now, he made the disclosure at a two-day expert technical meeting on 2023 climate-related disaster preparedness and mitigation strategies in Abuja. Ahmed noted that there had been seasonal climate predictions and annual flood outlooks by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency. He said the flood disaster in 2022 was an eye-opener, adding that the agency would spread early warning messages to state and local government areas and the Federal Capital Territory. The Director General said that the meeting would focus on the development and vulnerability and risk mapping to be used as a guide to avert a repeat of last year's severe flooding. And on insecurity, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps said over 546 suspects have been arrested and 51 convicted for various crimes from January 2022 till date. The Corps, during the same period, destroyed 71 illegal refineries and 22 illegal oil bunkering sites and 134 trucks impounded. The Commander General NSCDC Ahmed Aidi stated this on the occasion of the World Civil Defense Day with the theme, The Role of Information Technologies and Risk Assessment in Abuja. Aidi noted that with technology, risk assessment and crime detention has been made easily, adding that the Corps is meeting with the challenges of modern crime fighting and management. He said that the Corps maintained a dogged fight against the activities of criminal elements such as vandals, economic saboteurs, and oil thieves with the use of advanced technologies. You are still watching News Live on Viewer Television. Business, international, and entertainment news comes to you right after the break. Just stay tuned.
Morning, gentlemen. I'm at the Envoy Hotel, Diplomatic Drive 305, here for a business weekend. It's been an amazing stay. Conference hall and business facilities here are stylish and innovative. The Envoy Hotel is luxury, esoteric, opulent, for ultimate comfort.
Discerning travelers, we are more than just a place to stay. We are an icon of comfort, style, and thoughtful luxury. We are Envoy Hotel.
In this 21st century, where all the information we need is now in the palm of our hands. News from around the world, entertainment, celebrity gossip, sports, and much more. The only thing that you need is the right source. Viewer TV is now on the go. Simply check us out on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter for all the information you need.
business news, oil marketers said many depots have stopped loading premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, due to the apprehension caused by the collation of results of general elections across the country. It was also gathered that while filling stations operated by major marketers and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited were selling petrol between 194 naira and 200 naira per litre. Other outlets operated by independent marketers dispensed the product between 250 naira and 340 naira per litre. Now, this was despite the insistence of the federal government that there was no approval for an increase in the pump price of petrol, coupled with the government's demand that PMS should not be dispensed above the approved rate. And then PCL retail stations are believed to be selling PMS at the approved price. Many of them sell the commodity at 194 naira or 195 naira per litre, but independent marketers dispense a product far higher than these rates. And an economic report, foreign exchange inflows into Nigeria's economy fell year-on-year by 40% to $26.32 billion in the first 11 months of 2022 from $44.01 billion in the corresponding period of 2021. Now, data from the Central Bank of Nigeria monthly economic report showed that aggregate foreign exchange inflow into the economy was $63.57 billion, representing a 26% decline compared with $86.34 billion in 11 months 21. Now, the data also showed that foreign exchange outflow fell by 2% to $37.2 billion in 11 months 2022 from $37.96 billion in 11 months 2021. Now, outflows through the Central Bank of Nigeria rose by 2.14% to $30 billion in 11 months 2022 from $29.37 billion in 11 months of 2022. Now, in the reports, the CBN noted that on a monthly basis, net inflows through its rose by 16% to $2.2 billion in November 2022 from $1.74 billion in October 2022. Well, the International Monetary Fund has disclosed that only 24% of loans disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program of the Central Bank of Nigeria have been repaid. This disclosure was contained in the IMF's selected issues paper on Nigeria, which was prepared by a staff team of the fund as background documentation of the periodic consultation with the country. It was noted that the document was based on the information available as of the time it was completed on January 12, 2023. Now, according to the IMF, agricultural credit in the country has not significantly boosted production, even though there is the challenge of getting the right recipient for the credit. The IMF noted that although the CBN allows farmers to pay in kind or cash under the ABP, repayments have been very low. Now, banks' credits to the private sector rose from 35.18 trillion naira recorded at the end of January 2022 to 42.25 trillion naira in the corresponding period of 2023. Figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria have shown. Now, the CBN's money and credit statistics indicated this amount to a rise of 7.7 trillion naira in the year one period. Now, the figures also show that total credit rose to 30.41 trillion as of the end of January 2021 from 26 to 65 trillion naira at the end of January 2022. While delivering the Monetary Policy Committee report in January, the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said the committee reviewed the performance of the bank's various interventions aimed at stimulating production and productivity across the real sector. Under the 100-400 policy on production and productivity, he said the bank had disbursed 20.78 billion naira to 9 projects in healthcare, manufacturing, and services. On the news around the world, Turkish President Erdogan has indicated that his government still intends to hold elections a month earlier than scheduled despite an earthquake last month that devastated parts of southern Turkey. In an address to legislators of his ruling party, Erdogan shielded critics of the government's handling of the earthquake's aftermath and said the people would give their response to those critics on May 14th, the election date his ruling party had tentatively set for before the deadly tremor hit. The February 6th earthquake and strong aftershocks that struck Turkey and Syria have killed around 50,000 people, the vast majority in Turkey. Close to 204,000 buildings either collapsed or were severely damaged in Turkey, leaving hundreds of thousands of people homeless. Officials say 14 million people were affected by the quake, and millions of people have either left or had been evacuated from the quake-stricken region. Now, Hungary's parliament started the ratification process for Finland and Sweden's NATO entry after a month-long delay, with the country's president and a government official calling on lawmakers to swiftly back expansion of the alliance. Now, Sweden and Finland applied last day to join the Transatlantic Defense Pact after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But all 13 NATO members need to back the applications, and Sweden has faced objections from Turkey for harboring what Ankara considers to be members of terrorist group. Turkish Foreign Minister said talks with Sweden and Finland over the NATO membership bids would resume on March 9th, although he said Sweden had still not fulfilled its obligation under a memorandum signed last year. With Hungary's ratification process stranded in parliament since July, nationalist Prime Minister Viktor Orban aired concerns about Sweden and Finland's NATO membership for the first time last Friday. The presidents of China and Belarus joined in urging a ceasefire negotiations to bring about a political settlement in the Ukraine conflict. The joint call came in a meeting in Beijing between Belarusian President Alexander, a close ally of Russia, and his Chinese counterparts. That amounted to an endorsement of Chinese 12-point peace proposal issued on Friday that calls for the territorial integrity of all countries to be respected. Now, the core of China's stance is to call for peace and encourage talks. The proposal does not say what would happen to the region Russia has occupied since the invasion, or give details on how the peace process should proceed, and has failed to gain much support. And on entertainment news, the social media influencer Solomon Bucci has tackled popular music executive Dan Jazzy, accusing him of wasting no time in promoting girls on Instagram, but mute about the 2023 elections. Bucci, though, applauded Don Jazzy for his accomplishment in the industry, he chided the Marvin Balls for not using the social media platforms to sensitize the youth for elections, but rather to showcase young girls with easy virtues. The live coach said he likes Don Jazzy's personality and what he has done in the Nigerian secular music space. The husband of a popular Nollywood actress Regina Daniels, Chinedu Wonko, declared the winner of the Delta North Senatorial District seat in Delta, Nigeria. Wonko, also known as Ned Wonko, scored a total of 92,514 votes to win the elections that took place on Saturdays in Nigeria. He defeated the Labour Party candidate Kennedy Kaima, who got 86,121 votes, and the incumbent and candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Peter, who polled 36,816 votes. The returning officer, Dr. Josephine Anene, announced the results at the INEC Collation Center in Oshimili South local government area in Asaba. Now, skid maker Bukimi Ilori, aka Kiki, has spoken against tribalism. The multimedia personality said choosing a candidate for an election should not be based on tribal lines. The actress, who hails from Oyo State, said her passport in Nigeria is not Yoruba. Kiki, in an Instagram post, emphasized the importance of getting an education, arguing it burdens minds and sharpens their ability to think and reason. Sharin has revealed his wife Cherry Seaborn diagnosed with a tumor while pregnant, causing him depression and anxiety. The singer-songwriter said the sudden loss of his brother Jamal case all added to the sense he was drowning as he spent a decade finishing recording his new album Subtract. Shireen and Seaborn announced the birth of their eldest second daughter in May last year after doctors told her there was no route to treatment until after the birth. He said within the space of a month his pregnant wife got told she had a tumor with no route to treatment until after the birth. And that's all on News Live, but before we go, let's take a recap of the headlines. INEC declares Bola Tinubu winner of Nigeria's 2023 presidential election. Federal government begins clampdown on firms over digital advertisement. Plus, Turkey to hold elections on May 14th despite deadly earthquake. Well, many thanks for watching. I am Joy Malik. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.